Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pauper Premier League week number 2. We just had an awesome match between myself and Brian Koval here. Brian, what did you think of that match? You won pretty cleanly, 2-0 there.
Game 1 was a sweat. I was fortunate enough to have the Doomblade both games for the turn 2 Priest, and that was pretty much it. Game 1, you had an awesome flex about how grindy elves can get, but the Teachings deck is still grindier. So that was a crazy one. I'm glad it's in the record, though I hope to never do that again.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I meant when I was saying that elves can get very grindy against these Teachings decks, is that you can actually outgrind them if it's like often like a 1-for-1. But in that game, I didn't really see any distant melodies. I didn't really see very much by way of Lead the Stampedes, which was, for how long that game went, was really kind of surprising to me. But that if I would have seen any of those, that might have turned the entire tide of that game. But unfortunately, it didn't. And then we got into game 2, and I felt I was on that receiving end of some really sweet justice from you. So
there's no justice. It's just us.
Yeah, exactly. So so now we are going into round 4 for the night, and we've got another really sweet matchup here. We get to see Joseph Hourani on his really awesome Blue-White Familiars list, and Ricardo Mattana on the Boros Snow list. What do you think of this matchup, Brian?
I'm looking at those 5 red blasts in Ricardo's sideboard again, and this is what they're for. I think Ricardo's favored. He can pressure meaningfully. He's not going to die to 2 power flyers because he has his own 2/3 flyers, unless he gets Dignitary locked in game 1 when he doesn't have access to his red blasts. But he still has Galvanic Blast. He can pick off the wall. He can pick off whatever he wants. He has a lot of burn. So
exactly.
I think Ricardo is favored here.
Now, it ultimately kind of depends on who sets up faster. I feel like Ricardo's list is a little more dirtly. So while they both kind of dirtle up to their, take their sweet time building up to like their fiery finish, so to speak. I feel like Ricardo might just be just a little bit slower, because if Joseph gets to really set up and he's really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Undisturbed. I don't know. You kind of get where I'm going there. So as long as like there's no real interaction, no responses, no like counterspell, fiery, whatever, then Joseph can just take it away and just run away with the game really fast.
Looks like we are.
And
we're in turn 1 already down here. All right.
Yeah. So looks like we've got ourselves a hand here. But losing.
So those 2 bogs that we saw Ricardo sort of pick apart my plan A with.
Yeah, they're definitely going to put in some work here.
Yeah, they're good here too. They're not as good because Joseph has a lot more instant speed action out of the graveyard than I do. Like I sort of wanted to sit there the whole game as a resource, but Joseph wants to just shoot out of it in 1 turn. So, but he could clip a Deep Analysis. He could reset the graveyard for the first wall might just be a 0/5.
Right.
So
1 second.
And like we were getting to when we were talking about the matchup, Ricardo has 32 points of burn in his deck. So if Joseph doesn't set up with the God-Pharaoh's Faithful, he could just die, just straight to the dome from 16. It's not unreasonable.
Yeah. So looks like they're just trying to get all these little technical things sorted out here real fast, just making sure that the hands are showing correctly on the right side. Because as you can tell, unfortunately, they're slightly flipped around here. We ran into this a little bit last week. It's a little hard to tell sometimes based on who hosts what match and who jumps in. But we're just doing our very best to set this up as quickly and cleanly as possible, just to make sure that you guys have the best viewing experience possible here. So just bear with us as we get that fixed. But the show must go on here in the meantime.
Yep. So hands are backwards, but we can see the board. We can see the hands. So we can still work with this. Joseph is... Ricardo's got the Seeker. That's big.
Yeah.
Seeker are getting crunchy when when Joseph is just playing his Chanceries and setting up sack bounce lands for later. Like, Seeker's going to get in for 4 next turn.
Yeah.
We've got Bog comes into play tab, so not necessarily for...
Well, now there's a Radiant Fountain there, so that's just going to clean things up nicely.
Okay, yeah.
So we can go Radiant Fountain into Astrolabe into Prism, and that Seeker's just going to put some really hard pressure really fast. Yep. Joseph's going to be able to start getting there with God-Pharaoh's Gift a little bit, but it's going to not quite be enough necessarily to get there. And then even then, Ricardo the following turn just has the Galvanic Blast and even now an Oblivion Ring to get rid of that God-Pharaoh's Faithful and make it so that Joseph can't really gain any life.
Yeah, the Oblivion Ring is going to turn on Seeker for the turn, and it's going to clear the Faithful, and we got to keep Galv Blast in the hand to go face later.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ricardo's position right now.
Yeah, he's definitely getting the edge here very fast. And even if he really wants to, like, let's say that Joseph goes for the Faithful, which he does here. And
I guess he could snap Seeker just to suck up some damage here. Looks like he's going to do that.
And then he's going to evoke Mulldrifter, gain some life. So, not to say that he will, but Ricardo might just try and fire off the Galvanic Blast here and drop the Seeker of the Way again. Again, Joseph slowing him down a little bit. But if we really came down to it, then Ricardo could always, Galvanic Blast into a Thraben Inspector, crack the clue. So he's definitely got some options here. He could even just go Oblivion Ring, Thraben Inspector.
Yeah, I kind of like that personally, but I am playing a control deck. We'll see if Ricardo wants to get aggressive here. Yeah. Seeker or Galv Blast is the aggro play, and then O-Ring Inspector is the control play.
Yeah, looks like he is indeed going in with the O-Ring hit. So now what he doesn't know though is that Joseph has the other God-Pharaoh or another God-Pharaoh's Faithful in his hand.
Well, so, good thing we have that Galv Blast.
Exactly. Oh, and he drew a third one.
Lot of respect. He didn't play the Thraben Inspector. He's holding up Galv Blast.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to die this turn.
Very impressive. So.
That's rough.
Doesn't really have much to do otherwise. Can't really cast that. Can't cast the Mnemonic Wall. Can't cast the Deep Analysis because you don't have any Sunscape Familiars or anything. You just gotta do the best you can with it.
Yeah, drawing that third Faithful though, I feel like the advantage bar just moved in the other direction a little bit.
Absolutely, and Ricardo just found a Journey to Nowhere here. So he's probably if he plays this right, he's probably gonna cycle away the Ash Barrens, try and get out a probably, if I had to guess, probably a mountain, find a red source, and Journey to Nowhere the God-Pharaoh's Faithful.
Yeah, he can clear the way here.
Yeah. I just want to clarify for those watching at home here. We have been having a little bit of technical difficulties in this first week or two. This week has thankfully been considerably smoother. However, our lovely producer, Rich, is only working with 2 monitors currently. We're going to be upping that count to 3 monitors next week, and that should make things much, much smoother. You won't have this little, Magic Online kind of on top of Magic Online, obscuring the screen a little bit. This is a bit of our growing pains just as we're starting this for the very first time ever. So we appreciate you very much in sticking with us through this. All right, it looks like we got the Seeker of the Way coming down, and just letting that God-Pharaoh's Faithful stick around.
Yeah, it'll do more damage to get Seeker into play. Like, he would have to gain 4 life this turn for this to be a damage negative.
Right, because then there'll just be a journey coming down this next turn, and there could be some other spells coming after that too.
Right. The only thing this opens him up to is if if Joseph drew a flicker, like he could flicker his Faithful in response to the trigger.
Right, but unfortunately he can't. So
yeah, he is. He's tapped out. The shields are down, and
there's a lightning bolt as well.
Yeah, Ricardo's been so patient on this Bojuka Bog, and it's about to get there.
Yeah, it's about to put in some serious
it's
work.
going to clean up a deep analysis and just wreck that graveyard for the first wall that appears.
Yep. There it is. Bojuka Bog really coming in hot.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Ricardo's use of Bojuka Bog in our match and this one, the 2 times I've seen him play.
Absolutely. There was so much play with the Bojuka Bog the last time. We, myself and Joseph kept commenting on that. It was unfortunate the fact that Ricardo was actually flooding out considerably during those matches. Wow, Joseph found God-Pharaoh's Faithful number 4.
Sheesh. And he's got the flicker now.
So now what we're gonna see is Ricardo gonna be patient and hold the bolt, or is he gonna try and get in there? Now he's gonna probably try and go for that bolt. While the shields are down, you can't bolt the.
Yeah, it's a 0/4.
That's right. Sometimes I forget that thing has 4 toughness. I always kind of want to say it has 3. So.
I would prefer that card if it had 3.
I know.
I've a lot of time. I like myself a lightning bolt.
Exactly. So at this point, though, we do kind of have that loop going on. You can see Joseph is getting a little antsy moving around those cards. So he's real excited. He's really jonesing, and he's hyped as heck to go off with this.
Yeah, his battle cruiser is about to be operational. He's got the fun of Stonehorn Dignitary and the flicker and the wall. Everything he needs to lock this game up is in hand.
Yep. So what we probably will see is we'll probably end up seeing the Stonehorn Dignitary coming down next turn if I had to take a guess. And then Joseph will just hold up the Ghostly Flicker to try and just protect, just to make sure.
Right.
And then once he flickers away, the flicker will go to the graveyard. But then the following turn, then he can just cast the Mnemonic Wall and return the Ghostly Flicker to his hand.
Yep. Unless Ricardo picks up this, I guess picking up the Bog doesn't matter because Flicker is an instant. But yeah. I feel like Ricardo's going to keep drawing cards. He wants Astrolabe. I don't think you Bog here.
Nah.
You want burn spells in this spot.
You want all the value you can hope to find.
Exactly. Like if he finds Galvanic Blast off this draw, he's still very much alive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is not a Galvanic Blast.
It is a second bolt, though. Double bolt does a good Galvanic Blast impression.
It certainly does.
Is about to go, unless Joseph wants to throw the Cloudkin under the bus here, this Seeker is about to crunch. Yeah. All right. Ricardo doesn't want to give him that choice. Just get in there with Seeker.
Yeah. So in for 6 damage. Joseph's at 8. And now we're going to very, very quickly see that Stonehorn Dignitary get windmill slammed right onto the board.
Yep, there it is.
So now Ricardo, in very quick succession, has to pretty much draw 2 bolts.
Yeah, he needs 2 burn spells right now. Joseph can gain 1 life this turn. And we've got a prism. Let's start spinning those wheels.
There's the Glint Hawk.
Yep. Circus music. That's the jam. Yeah, so if Ricardo finds any Galvanic Blast or Bolt here, he can kill the Stonehorn Dignitary in response to the next flicker.
Yeah.
Firebolt doesn't do it because it's a sorcery.
Right. And it's just another Seeker.
Well, the squad is ready if Ricardo ever gets a window.
Yeah. It's going to be very tight action happening here at this point.
Yeah. I think you just flicker end step and then jam your wall and get your flicker back.
Yeah. Because don't forget too, for those playing at home who might not be so aware, Stonehorn Dignitary actually, and I found that really interesting that Joseph did not flicker the Stonehorn Dignitary, even though
didn't he?
No, he flickered the island from what I saw.
Oh, he didn't flicker the Faithful. He hit Dignitary and Island.
Okay. It looked from the way I saw that on my screen with the arrows, it looked like the God
right on time.
Faithful.
Galvanic Blast just appeared.
Yeah. So, and there's the flicker. Yep, Joseph got greedy, and it's not going to pay off quite too well for him.
I don't think it's greed. He has one counterspell in his main deck.
Yeah.
And he has the loop he has to go. He knows whatever this is just came off the top right now.
Yep. So.
Yep, clear that wall.
Shields are down. So we got...
He misses one more attack step.
Right. So Joseph still has a little bit longer to try and find what he's looking for. He's finding the Sunscape Familiar. It'll be great if we can see like a flicker coming down here pretty soon, but that's going to be about it.
Yeah, this is the last turn. If Joseph bricks on this draw step, Ricardo's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is going to hurt.
Yes, it's going to be a sizable crunch. And he can cast and flash back Prismatic Strands and just name like blue or black, like some random color.
And there it is. Green. It's just another land for Joseph's draw.
He's going to have a painful turn here. I'm not sure if he's dead. So if the bolt goes upstairs, he's at 9. And then the 2 Seekers become 3/3s. Oh, the Journey is probably going to seal the deal here.
Yeah, you just hit. What do you hit with Journey?
I hit Stonehorn Dignitary.
That's probably what I would hit. Yeah. So I see Alex here in the chat asking us the question, what do you think? Do you think that Ricardo should have hit the Stonehorn Dignitary instead of the Mnemonic Wall like he did? Or
yes, I do, actually. It's so actually, if you hit the wall there, then he still has Dignitary, and there's one card in Joseph's deck left. He only has 2 flickers to Ephemerate. And Ephemerate is way slower than Flicker. So you're fading a 3 of. But if you bolt the Dignitary, then there's no Dignitary in his deck anymore. There's one Mortuary Mire to get it back, but that's nowhere in sight.
Right, exactly. And even then, it still takes him a certain number of turns to really kind of get there with it.
Right. Yeah, so I when he did it, I was thinking I would have hit Dignitary.
Mm-hmm.
I also would have journeyed pre-combat here. I'm pretty sure we could have cobbled lethal together.
Probably could have gotten an extra little point of damage in, and
now he has to get rid of Dignitary. Yeah, like that Dignitary has 3 damage on it. His opponent, or Joseph's at 6, and there's a bolt in hand, so that could have been lethal. And blocks would have been different probably, but
yeah. The other thing I probably would have done there, and obviously Ricardo ended up winning that, as we pretty much expected at that point. What I probably would have done as well is we also had that little window there where I think Ricardo probably could have just bolted the face, and there was a Seeker on the Stonehorn, and it would have killed the Stonehorn that way. Or if you really wanted to kill a creature, then he could also kill the Sunscape Familiar. But
so I think
pretty much got it.
I think what he was doing was playing around a flicker effect. So if he lets combat damage get onto the Stonehorn, then post-combat goes for Journey. If he flickers, then he can bolt to finish it off. And as long as he has bolt at the end of when the dust settles, he can't brick there. So he played really conservatively. We have the benefit of perfect information, so we know he had lethal, but he just didn't want to die when he didn't have to. So he played that really well.
Exactly.
And the chat pointed out by killing Wall, that also gets rid of Flicker.
Right.
So
just want to let everybody know here as well, we are once again resetting this clock. We just want to make sure that everybody has plenty of time to get their matches in, and we all have a good time here. So we're setting back up here real fast, and we'll be back to this gameplay very, very quickly for you. So what are you expecting here in post-board matchup?
All right, so I'm expecting 5 red blasts. I know I keep saying that. Every time I'm in the booth, I talk about the 5 red blasts, but I'm so excited that A, that's a thing we can do now, and B, he's chosen to do it.
Exactly.
So,
and I was even commenting on that myself when me and Joseph were discussing it. It was like, wow. I don't think I really noticed that when I was actually looking at Ricardo's list. Obviously, I had to end up like basically retyping these lists for the deck list article that I published. And it was not something that really registered in my brain when I was typing it, that there were 5 blasts in here, 5 red blasts. And seeing him bring those in against you was like, whoa, there's 5 blasts there.
Yeah, I had to play our game 3 really weird. Like, he mulled to 5, and I was way ahead for most of the game, but it was still like, do I want to run this teachings out into a red blast? Like, I didn't cast a turn 2 augur on it against his mull to 5 because he had red mana up. Like, I just really respected these 5 red blasts, and they're pretty crazy. And minor nitpick, though, is there any reason not to be on 4 Pyroblast when you have a prowess creature in your deck?
No.
Like, shouldn't this be 4-1? Like, there's nothing in Pauper. There's no meddling mage. So I think this should be 4-1.
It really should be. And that may not have been something that really registered. I don't know. Maybe wanted to show off those red elemental blasts. But I mean, everybody's made some, like, slightly, arguably at least, some slightly, suboptimal choices in their thing. Obviously, I'm running 4 Weather the Storm in my sideboard because, one of the things I expected out of that Ricardo could be bringing to the table was burn. Well, I always talked quite a bit about burn. So I was like, well, if I face burn, I'm going to be in for a tough time. So I'm going to pack all 4 Weather the Storms here. Well,
it turns out that he still basically brought burn. It just dirtles more. It's dirtle burn. Like, I don't board out Weather the Storm in that matchup. Like, that's clutch. Like, if you need to get above, like you can't just stabilize at 10 or whatever. He's got 32 points of burn in his deck. Like, you got to weather that storm. Like, I don't know if you're going to bring in any number of them, but like, I liked having one that I could get when I need it in my teaching package. Like,
yeah, and it definitely put in some work again. Even like against us here, you just said because that longbow was starting to whittle you down, but because you gained that extra buffer in life with the Weather the Storm, it made it much harder for me to even want to try to get in there for damage.
Yeah, and I found in playing this deck that Weather the Storm is usually the first teachings gets whatever removal spell you need to stay alive. The second one gets the third one, then the third one gets Weather the Storm.
Right.
Most situations.
It definitely changes the way I see the teachings matchup as an Elves player, for the record. Because that was kind of like I said, like we mentioned, it can very much outgrind teachings, but previously there wasn't really that major life gain like that. So it would just be like, okay, I would just grind out until I was able to kill you. But this makes it much harder. That said, we are ready to go here for our second game. So here we go. Let's see what we got going on here.
All right, looks like we got hands in the right place and names in the right place.
Yeah.
The record is still incorrect. Ricardo's up a game, but our names are right.
Actually, everything's flipped back again, unfortunately. Take a look at the board and the screen.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I think we tried to flip this back and the hosting.
Yeah, Ricardo has his own hand, but
for some reason.
Oh well.
So,
Here's that Seeker. I think that's the best card in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. And Joseph kept a really not that great hand here against the Boros player. Does have the Aven Riftwatcher, which is a good play here. And then you can always play Riftwatcher, then cast Snap, bring it back to his hand, and then replay it again for extra life gain. But it's not that going to be that hard here for Ricardo to just do exactly what he's doing and go, Journey to Nowhere, that's gone. It's out of here.
Yep. Taking a journey, that life gain's gone. Now Ricardo gains 3 life. Notably, Joseph has Ephemerate in hand, which dodges all 5 of those red blasts.
Yeah.
So though Ephemerate is a less busted card than Ghostly Flicker, it does dodge one of the most potent sideboard cards against the deck. So that's kind of clever deck building. You give a little, you get a little.
Right. So interesting. What we get here?
Ooh, this Palace Sentinels. That card's going to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Guess we got to respect this fairy that's coming down, though. If Joseph chooses to, I bet he's going to block Ephemerate here.
100%. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be the line.
Actually, maybe that's just super greedy. So if he does that, he loses his Ephemerate to any of the 8 Lightning Bolt effects or the 5 Red Blasts if we just kill Cloud Conceer. So maybe he just has to take this or just offer a straight-up trade with no Ephemerate or a chump.
Right.
And we know that Ricardo doesn't have any of those things, but...
Right. I don't think... Yeah, so what's probably going to end up happening is I wouldn't be surprised if... What's going on? Because I'm going to say... We might see the Astrolabe come down. Yeah, that looks like what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think this hand is going to look a lot different before the turn ends.
Oh, 100, absolutely. And then Ricardo's probably, there's the Glint Hawk. It's really interesting, too, because now that allows him to play Glint Hawk as opposed to Kor Skyfisher. But question, would you play Kor Skyfisher instead of Glint Hawk? Because then you're not trading.
I would play Glint Hawk just to bluff that I have any of my million 1-mana red cards here.
Right.
Because just letting Joseph Ephemerate this thing is a huge mistake.
Right.
Yeah, you have to pretend you have something even when you don't, especially when, he's what, like 13 cards into his deck? Mathematically, he should have one by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the chat's going to go nuts anytime anyone talks about math. Oh, Joseph is fearless, though. Yep, rewarded. Fearless and rewarded. Go big or go home, I guess.
Got there. Sometimes you just got to gamble. Take those risks. And so then, interesting. So we're going to see a Kor Skyfisher come down now. And then, so then Ricardo's going to be sitting on some Astrolabes.
Yep.
And Joseph's going to be able to land that Ephemerate on that Cloudkin Seer again. Draw more cards. And he got a Mortuary Mire, too. So if he gets one of his pieces and it dies, well, then he can just get it right back if he holds on to that Mortuary Mire long enough. His
hand is kind of poop soup, though. He's got 3 Dispels and a Snap and some lands. Like, that's not going to do it against 3 2-power creatures.
Nope, and we can see that he recognizes that fact and is snapping to try and get some value here from this Seer.
You got to.
Oh, there's a Stonehorn Dignitary at the very least.
All right, he's got 4 of those now, so that'll go a long way.
Yep.
One of his 4 flickers is in the bin at this point, though.
Right.
And we have Bog by Leon and Ricardo. Ricardo's got the Bog.
Okay, and it looks like we have a fixed up layout here now. Nice. I'm guessing what we did was then we had just one overlay for the one way the players were showing up here, and by doing this now, we have one for either or just in case the sides get switched again for some reason. So again, one of our little growing pains, but the more we do this, the better we get at it. And We once again thank Rich, our amazing producer, for helping us every step of the way. So what do we got here? We got some creatures coming in for some hot attacks, it looks like, pretty soon here.
Yep. So Ricardo can draw another card off Astrolabe this turn if he turns that red into snow, and then the white bounces Astrolabe. Yep. There it is. So Joseph's going to know the shields are down. I guess we still have our land drop. So one more shot to draw a red card before we just bog him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Seeker is going to be monstrous. I think what I would have done this turn is just get one Astrolabe, make Seeker a 3/3, serve with everything, and if he blocks to save damage, which I suspect he would, then you can just become the Monarch.
Yeah.
And I would just turtle up behind my cards.
And there's a Pyroblast there. It's not really going to do enough here, but we have the option.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Obviously, Ricardo doesn't know that all possible dispels, 3 in the list, 3 in the hand, are present.
Yep. And there's God-Pharaoh's Faithful too there. But unfortunately, Joseph can't really do it with only one white source, so he's just going to go in, slam that Dignitary down as quickly as he can to, try and at least slow down Ricardo's game plan here.
I think it's Monarch time.
Yeah, just definitely feeling that way.
And Joseph is not going to be able to take the Monarch in any reasonable fashion here. So I just want to start drawing cards here.
Yep.
I like just jamming Sentinels, leaving up red. And you already have one Pyroblast. You have your draw step Monarch trigger to hit another.
Right. It's totally reasonable for Ricardo to drop an Astrolabe, but you might as well play that bluff game and also hope that you actually draw another red spell.
Right. So it's either Mountain or Bog here.
Looks like
obviously because those are the lands that he has. So Bog clears out that Ephemerate. All right. I like Bog.
Yep.
He's playing to the thing that he knows he can do rather than the thing that he might rip. So he did rip a red card.
Yep. So we're definitely looking at some strong plays here. So we got the God-Pharaoh's Faithful down. There's going to be a Preordain, and we're going to start seeing some action.
Yep.
What are we going to see? Joseph going to show us what we got? Doesn't quite.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, before he had it alongside his hand, and we could see there was like a deep analysis and something else. And that was like in game 1. There's a snap.
Okay, we got
a
snap.
Something else, and I don't know.
So snap gains 2 life and gets him a card deeper into the deck at this point.
So the snap definitely went on the top and into his hand. We don't know what the other card was, if it went on top or bottom.
Right.
And we played the Mortuary Mire here.
Just colorless mana is active. I like just dumping all the artifacts. I guess
that's what I'm thinking.
He has Galv Blast and Pyroblast, so he might think that he could reasonably clear the Stonehorn. Though he also, the Stonehorn, there isn't a flicker over there. There's Trips, Dispel, and Snap, so this thing is not dying. We know that, but
Ricardo knows not.
Yeah, but if he picks this fight, Joseph's going to be pretty close to Hellbent at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a Faithless Looting, Tim.
Oh, that's good. This hand has got some bricks in it currently.
Mm-hmm. So, now, would you try and play the Seeker at some point here, the extra Seeker? Well, now there's another Seeker just popped up. So what would you do here?
I personally would do everything that draws me a card. So I would probably looting here and get rid of that extra Seeker. I think we have enough pressure. We just need to bust up this Stonehorn Dignitary.
Right. That makes sense. We might actually see him even lose some Seekers per chance. You got the Glint Hawk there, so if Ricardo really wants to at some point here, he can even go Glint Hawk, pick up an Astrolabe, and go to town.
Yeah, I'm discarding Ash Barrens and Seeker here.
Yeah. But he actually just lost the Ash Barrens and the Mountain. So no land drop for Ricardo this turn.
Oh, I lost track of the turn cycle here. I did not realize that Stonehorn wasn't active right now.
Yeah.
This is a pretty... This is an impressive attack that leaves him open to losing the Monarch.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know about a triple Dispel. He probably thinks he's super safe with these 3 red cards. But
yeah.
Yeah, I guess he could just bash it back.
Yes, so he's going to probably try and, Galv Blast back, and he's going to try and go for the Pyroblast, but fortunately it's not really going to work out for him.
Yeah, he's going to get Stonehorn Dignitary next turn and lose the Monarch.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have been a lot more patient. I would have left back my flying creatures just in case.
Sure. But
I'm just turning Seeker sideways in that spot.
Right. Just as well, at that point, you also didn't really know what was going on. And with like that much just straight blue mana, I don't know that for me sitting in Ricardo's spot, I don't think I would have necessarily expected what Joseph has in play here.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done anything this game, and he's been holding up blue for a while. So he's probably expects 1 Dispel, but he's not ready for all 3.
Right. And then Joseph is still holding up 1 more in his hand as well.
Yeah.
So Ricardo's going to get 1 more Monarch hit here, but that's really not going to be it. However, Joseph is going to take the Monarch here, and he's also going to get 1 Stonehorn Dignitary, but if Joseph doesn't really find anything this next turn, he's going to be in for a real world of hurt.
Yeah, the Monarch is just 1 extra card a turn when Ricardo's deck draws 2 to 4 cards a turn. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he could also just draw another Palace Sentinels and take it back the easy way.
Right. And there is a deep analysis that just got drawn by... Yeah, see, there you go. There's the Palace Sentinels. Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
So we can just go Palace Sentinels here. And what would you do? I would probably feel like... Maybe like
I'm jamming Palace Sentinels.
100%. Palace Sentinels. Would you go in on playing the Seeker, or would you go on playing Glint Hawk, pick up Astrolabe, play Astrolabe again?
I would start with Glint Hawk. I always sequence my turns so I have all the information before I commit to anything else. Mm-hmm. So if he's going to play Glint Hawk this turn, he should lead with it.
Right.
Because then he'll have all the information he's going to have. Like, I would hate to tap out 4 mana and then commit to a thing and then draw something better. Though I don't know what you're going to draw better than Palace Sentinels. That's what he would have been digging for.
Right.
Yeah, this looks like a good window to get another Seeker in play, and then just... He's basically all in. His hand has nothing relevant right now. Yeah, he's going to take this... He's going to take this turn to just dig.
Right.
Just,
so he picked up Astrolabe and didn't pick up Great Furnace to to hold up that bolt or anything. So it's going to be interesting. Even
we got a red. Oh,
yeah,
Mystic Remora.
Mystic Remora looks extra spicy right about now.
So the sad thing about Mystic Remora is that we're actually... Oh, geez, that Ephemerate. That dodges the red. Lightning Bolt doesn't hit Stonehorn. That was a good deep analysis.
Oh, sure. Certainly was.
Yep.
And that Mystic Remora now, because Ricardo didn't hold up any red mana or anything, he's going to have to waste some mana. Or, he's going to... I'm sorry. Joseph is going to draw a card just so that Ricardo can get it off the board.
Yeah, let's see if he wants to rev it or if he just wants to play out his creatures and try to play through it.
Right. And we've seen 2 bolts so far, so we are getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah, so 2 dispels are in the graveyard already. Ricardo knows that Joseph only has 3, and he can bolt with red backup.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you just jam here. Like, let him draw cards. He has 1 negate in the 75 to worry about, and the 2 ghostly flickers that haven't appeared yet.
Right, and there is a Sunscape Familiar, but once again, that still isn't really doing a whole lot right this second.
Right. There's the Deep Analysis in the graveyard. It'll make that cheaper.
Yes.
And the Faithful will...
Just as well, can Joseph really afford the 1 life? Or the life there. I know he's going to gain some life back with the God-Pharaoh's gift, but if he pays the 3 life and Ricardo just happens to have the bolt, then that would be it. Thankfully, he doesn't, but...
Yeah, you can't play around that, though. Not in this spot. Mm-hmm. Like, if you get a chance to draw 2 cards, pay 1 life to draw 2 cards, you do it.
Exactly.
All right, we got another Sunscape Familiar. Yeah, he also has Dispel, so he was not exposed, really. It would have to be bolt, red blast with exactly that 4 mana he left up.
Yeah.
All right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're 1 short.
We're so close.
Yep, and the Monarch keeps on chugging. Mystic Grimoire is really cool.
We got ourselves a Mulldrifter
with Ghostly Flicker. Time to pull up
Ghostly Flicker, I believe, is artifacts, creatures, and land.
Okay. I didn't remember if it specified what permanent type or if it just said permanent.
Yeah, it does specify which kind of permanent.
Too bad. That would have been that would have been really exciting.
Yeah, that would make Mystic Grimoire probably a lot more playable in this format. So this is really interesting. Ricardo's debating whether or not to Red Elemental Blast this, it looks like. Between the, going for the Dispel, the, obviously, is there a counter? Is Joseph, going to draw an answer off of the Mystic Grimoire? Things like that. And it looks like he's going to go for it here. Just try and keep Joseph off some number of cards.
Yeah.
And then Ricardo might actually even pay the mana to keep Joseph off the Mystic Grimoire draw. Yeah, absolutely.
He's not doing anything else with it. Pay the 4.
So to do all of this, Joseph basically has to tap out. So it could just end up that...
He has the double red still up with the Astrolabes, and he can Galv Blast the Stonehorn if he has to.
Right. Joseph is basically...
Oh, Joseph. Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
So because of that, Joseph really has to hit perfect, and he did not do that here.
Yeah, it was ephemer. Well, is he out of ephemerates? One got exiled, and one's in the bin. Yeah, so Ricardo
might just try and go for it.
Ooh, 13 points of burn. We don't have an attack step right now.
Nope.
I kind of like Galvanic Blasting this Stonehorn Dignitary right now.
Yeah. Absolutely probably the best play here, because then next turn Joseph's just going to go off if Ricardo doesn't answer this.
Right, Wall can get back Ephemerate, and he gets to Oracle before he has to do anything else. So he's going to have 3 looks at a Ghostly Flicker before he has to commit to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Is Stonehorn Dignitary currently... Ricardo has an attack step, right? Dignitary is not there.
Nope, I do not believe it is.
Yeah, I think we can just crunch. Like, oh, Glowsleeve Flicker right off the top.
Yep, and unfortunately, it's not going to get there.
Yeah, if Ricardo just dumps all his artifacts and then roasts the face, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he knows that white mana doesn't do anything because both ephemerates are accounted for. He had to tap out a blue to protect his Mulldrifter.
And there's another blast right there. So at this point, Ricardo doesn't even need to go in for doesn't even need to get there off of just the damage, but he's going to try anyway.
Yeah, he has lethal burn in hand. He doesn't even need to attack.
Right, but he's going to anyway.
Four, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 coming in.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Ricardo's got this all wrapped up, and this is going to be the end of match 4. I believe this is round 4 now. Yep. So once we're finished with this, we're gonna have myself and Ricardo actually going at it, and Brian is going to be in the booth here with Alex Ullman. Very, very excited to play this match. Elves versus Boros actually doesn't really always go the way people think it will. A lot of people think Boros, with all of its bolt spells and whatnot, is pretty favored. But because Boros takes quite a little while to get itself going, it's actually a little more favored in Elf's side. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. It ultimately comes down to just basically who draws the better hand.
Yep, this Snow Boros deck is super dirtily. Like it just spends a lot of time setting up, and it's doing an extremely powerful thing. But you sneak a priest or a Timberwatch through, they could just die.
Absolutely, and it's like I like the way I describe the Boros deck is it's like obviously one of the early names for a long time was Kitty, based off of the whole idea of Dirty Kitty. And then this is basically just like it does a whole lot of nothing for a ton of turns, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist of the stack. And there it is. There's that burn coming in hot.
You have the Azorius fam getting run over again. This was a more interesting game, but I think Joseph and myself are going to have one of the dirtiest matches of the night.
And there it is. So, that is going to be a very exciting match, and I personally can't wait for it. But there it is. Ricardo takes the match 2-0 against FAMs. And very good games, though. Those are a lot of back and forth, a lot of play. Unfortunately, Joseph didn't quite have the right setups with his lands and his field in that second game, which really definitely kind of hurt him a little bit there. What do you think about all of that, Brian?
Both of Joseph's draws were kind of clunky, but he's trying to assemble a contraption, and he didn't get there against the efficient card draw, the efficient pressure of Boros. That's the kind of deck I would want to be against a clunker combo deck like Azorius. I would rather be Boros than Mystical Teachings, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. So awesome. So at this point, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then, like I said, we're going to come right back. It's going to be myself versus Ricardo. And then it's going to be Brian here in the booth with Alex Ullman. We'll be right back with more action, the Pauper Premier League. Stay tuned. Hang tight.